This is my Friday night reading, and I think this is our fourth one. Usually I do things related, I've been doing some things related to the kitchen, our cocina, but this time I'm going to expand the range a little bit. I'm going to start off with a very short poem that is cocina related because it's related to a flamenco piece known as a petenera, which is something I've been studying on guitar. And this is a short one that I posted on Instagram, of all things. This is called Petenera of the Hidden Sailor. Tell her quietly I am here. With minor chords and sevenths, I will wait for her by the cloud-filled synagogue near the dark-skinned man with the strange guitar. And that's one of the ones I did with musical accompaniment with John Catalano some years ago. And the next couple pieces are related to works in books of mine. This is, you can see it, this is Crow at the Lawson Hotel, my latest chapbook. And this is a title poem. The Lawson Hotel was one of the many great jazz venues in Harrisburg years ago. And I placed Crow at its ruins. So this is Crow at the Lawson Hotel. When Crow isn't busy scheduling the TV lineup for fall, or sneaking into the OxyContin dreams of angry talk show radio DJs, he likes to relax and unwind in the crumbling remains of the Lawson Hotel. He communes with jazz ghosts, Sarah Vaughan, Bobby the Chic Walker, or Maharaja Lynn Hope, points out which of their passages came from him. The Maharaja asks, "Did I feel your presence when we played our way off the stage into the alley and then back inside, playing the whole time, wandering through the audience?" Crow smiles, nods his head, leaves the bar as Maharaja's ghost starts playing St. James Infirmary. Crow taunts the homeless guy who tries to sleep in the sheltered doorway of the rusting three-story hotel that was the down-the-block cousin of the fabulous Lawson Palace. Crow thinks of himself as the new king. Jumbo Lawson long gone, and so are the windows, so are the patrons. So is the Jazz Row of 6th Street, now a stretch of empty lot, grass, weeds, rats. "I am the new king," Crow proclaims as the homeless guy pulls his shopping cart in front of him, lifts his old broom to defend himself against Crow and his army of windmills. And I did all of the Crow poems with musical accompaniment that I'm hoping to record again with local musicians, Patrick Murphy on horn, John Catalano, and Jennifer Millard on guitars, and they're great. So I'm hoping to record Crow at the Lawson Hotel with musical accompaniment. This is vaguely a cocina-related poem in that it's about our old neighbors who used to live next door to us on the other side of our duplex. And I wrote this one probably about 13, 14 years ago. This is called Doc and Ellen. The old lady is still there, sitting on a porch swing, long gone, smoking Virginia Slims, taking notes of cars parking near our house, talking to no one in particular. "I saw a blue car. I don't know that car. They're parked near your house." Ellen crime watch through cigarette haze 78 years old, thick lens glasses, old-time Harrisburg. Her dad built the houses on this block, brick duplexes, black and white photos of Ellen as a young woman near rose bushes, our backyard, 1939. Her dad, a carpenter, got to be a foreman, only one on a Pennsylvania Dutch crew who spoke English. Built these brick houses, grew 6 rows of sweet potatoes in the lot across the street, occupied by 2 houses now. Put those spuds in a barrel, buried for freshness. Ellen remembered names of famous Harrisburgers, but what she knew was office work, soda fountains, movies, and the Five and Dime downtown. Then marrying Doc, Melvin D. Miller. M.D. Miller became Doc. Sheet metal worker, sax player, roughneck. Doc showed up at their wedding day bruised and dirty, his one suit all screwed up. Told me later he was drinking pre-wedding beers and some joker decided to make a crummy comment about the bride-to-be. They rolled out into the street, Doc said. I probably broke somebody's windshield with the other guy's head, he told me. When we met Ellen and Doc, they were near the end of their tale. Ellen chain smoking most of the day on the swing on the porch, staring at whoever drove by, only going inside half hour before Doc came home from hanging at a public golf course with some old buds from the VFW. Ellen would, every time, latch the screen door shut. A few minutes later, the nightly pantomime would begin. Doc trying to open the door. God damn it, woman, open the goddamn door. For a few minutes, on days when all the windows were open, we could hear Ellen chuckling, then saying, Who's there? Okay, coming, coming. Ellen and Doc, all on their own. Most of their friends on the other side. Good neighbors like us, helping out here and there. Ziza, my wife, cut Ellen's toenails for her, almost passing out from the smell. Artie, next door, funny gay Artie, dying of AIDS, would play cards with Ellen, who once said, You know, that Artie, he's a funny one. What's his story, Rick? I told her, wasn't sure. Maybe show business. Not telling her that Artie had been famous in Baltimore for his Pointer Sisters routine. The years marched on. The Sigs caught up with Ellen. She went first. Doc inconsolable. Ziza made extra soup, brought him over for cookouts. Turns out Doc bought a microwave somehow. Hundreds of cartons laying around that I found. Doc checked out not long afterwards. I moved his car for a few days until we found his estranged daughter. Creditors started appearing at their door, knocking and knocking. MasterCard finally finding my phone number, calling me, almost begging for someone to seize. Turns out Doc owed MasterCard $35,000. And I laughed so loudly, MasterCard and the rest never called again. And Doc left nothing but debt, an old car, and fond memories. Doc and Ellen, gone and gone, like old Harrisburg, where a factory worker and a secretary could have a nice house in a nice neighborhood, walking distance to a union hall and a church, and at least 4 bars. Doc and Ellen, working, yelling, dying in love and in debt. Memory, slow fade, slow fade. And that one was in my chapbook that I put out in 2018, The Dead Go Swimming. I'm going to be reissuing that one. I have plenty of copies of Crow. I'll be trying to publicize that soon. And I thought I'd throw in one more um, that is connected to my family. My niece Lua was sending me photos just before I I started this reading. So I thought I'd read the poem that I wrote for her a few years ago. And it's called Thank You, Lua. The darkness of the world overtook me yesterday, and I shut down. I went numb. Hurricanes, earthquakes, scary sudden pains of one, quadruple bypass of another, blew out my heart. I had to stop, drop, and roll into an empty corner full of nothing. The road back to something, anything, was unseen until a 7-year-old sprite, intrigued by green pepper seeds, random hopping, and singing in Brazilian Portuguese, shot a flare across my horizon, and everything was illuminated, and the road to something was inches away, right there. My heart lurched back into gear, and I found myself smiling, surprised at who and what brought me back into baseline function. Thank you, Lua. Maybe someday some of this might make sense. Okay, and I'll be posting this on YouTube in a bit. Thanks for watching. Buenas noches. Boa noite.